So they did draw their guns against peaceful, unarmed protesters. They smashed windows of trucks and campers, pointing guns in them. They opened the doors of trucks, pointing guns in them. Guns, guns, guns. They smashed a guy with the butt of a gun. And of course, they shot our reporter with a kind of gun. Do you need more pictures of Trudeau's cops using guns? The only violence in 3 weeks of the truckers being in Ottawa came from Trudeau and his armed thugs. He says he's against guns, only if you have them. He loves guns himself. So you know who reported on the guns? The New York Times did. Here's the story. Ottawa protesters cleared from Parliament encampment. A central area of the protests that roiled Canada's capital for 3 weeks was cleared of demonstrators. That's the headline and the sub-headline. And here's the mention of guns, really close to the top of the story. Starting about 10 a.m., police advanced on trucks that had been parked on Wellington Street, the thoroughfare in front of the Parliament building, drawing guns on some vehicles and banging on doors as they searched for any people inside. And if you scroll down, you can see they used a picture, a photograph of cops pointing guns and cops with bats, the ones that they used to hit Alexa. It's a well-reported story by 2 New York Times pros, one of whom has covered news from wars, I understand. Not really controversial to cover the news. The news itself was, of course, enormously controversial. Trudeau attacking peaceful protesters with guns and charging riot horses against unarmed, peaceful citizens. That's extremely controversial. But how is writing about it controversial? Isn't the controversy that it happened? Breaking news. The police arrested demonstrators at gunpoint near the Parliament building in Ottawa in an effort to end the week-long protests. Oh, how dare they say that to embarrass the precious one. Here's Justin Ling from the Parliamentary Press Gallery. Guns were not drawn. This is wrong. He's a freelance journalist. Hey, guys, don't believe your lying eyes. No. And there were guns everywhere. There were guns pointed. There were guns smashing. There were guns shooting. But here's the CBC. Look, I'm not one to shame and blame because I know mistakes happen during breaking news, but this is false and incredibly dangerous rhetoric that will be used by those who have no interest in facts. Please delete this tweet and issue a correction. Sincerely, a Canadian journalist. No, sister, you're not a Canadian journalist. You're a government journalist. It's a different thing. But there were pictures right there in that New York Times article of the guns. Why were Canadian journalists trying so hard to get the Times to not report the guns? Even if the Times were wrong, which it obviously isn't, why are these Canadian journalists reporting about the Times instead of reporting about the news? Why are they anti-reporting, unreporting, counter-reporting? Why are they focused on the New York Times instead of on Trudeau? Here's another CBC journalist. Boy, the CBC was mad. Oh my God, New York Times, is this how you do reporting on foreign stories? Where are you getting this BS from? I know you're journalists and you're better than this, so do better. And here's a hysterical expert on right-wing extremism. Is the New York Times drunk? Where are the guns? Look, Ottawa police have not covered themselves in glory here, but what they are doing is not at gunpoint. Who is behind the wheel at New York Times Canada? Here's the vice president of the Canadian Association of Journalists. The Canadian Association of Journalists has been silent about Trudeau's attack on Alexa Lavoie and Trudeau's attack on David Menzies in December, but boy, are they vocal now. Y'all, just call me. I'll write the right, accurate story for you because this is embarrassing and wrong. Got it. She's going to fix the New York Times. She'll make sure it's accurate. Here's John Ibbotson of the Globe and Mail. He says, in my opinion, this requires a correction from the New York Times. On what basis do they assert that people were arrested at gunpoint? Armed police is not at gunpoint. Unless weapons were drawn and pointed at protesters, this is both factually incorrect and dangerous to assert. They're all talking about how dangerous it is. I should tell you some of the most amazing footage was actually from his Globe and Mail colleague, Marika Walsh is her name. Watch the first 5 seconds here. Just the first 5 seconds. Take a look.
Get back. Get back. Anything could happen right now. You guys need to get back.
That's from the Globe and Mail. Why won't he believe his colleague? Why won't he believe her videotape? Why is he a truther? Here's another CBCer. That tweet is reprehensibly inaccurate. Reprehensible. That's just some TV doctor who loves the lockdowns. Here's another lockdownist. Can we get the New York Times unsubscribe trending? Here's Trudeau's Alberta senator with a characteristically shallow and juvenile and lazy response. They're really all in this together, aren't they? Trudeau and his government, and the government lockdown doctors, and the government journalists. That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.